$30,000 in credit card debt. When they call, I tell them I can't pay it back yet. Credit card debt. Tomorrow I may buy myself a dining room set or this Boba Fett. Credit card debt.
Imagine spending $7,000 on a vacation and coming back home with a Mickey Mouse ear hat, an overpriced fridge magnet, and $2,000 in credit card debt. Well, I'm here to tell you that's not a nightmare. That happens to real people every single day at the happiest place on earth. Hi guys, I'm Robo. Welcome back to a new video. Today, we're talking about why perfectly normal, smart people keep going broke for a theme park, and why Disney has basically engineered it that way. Because this isn't an accident. There's a reason you feel like you have to go, a reason you can't stop spending once you're there, and a reason this keeps happening to more people every single year. Let's break it all down. Let's start with the cold hard numbers, because most people have no idea how expensive a Disney trip actually gets until they're already committed.
How much does it actually cost for a family to spend a full week at Disney World? For these calculations, we're doing a week in the middle of June with a family of 4, 2 adults and 2 kids that are ages 6 and 10 that are going to be staying at a moderate resort. A standard view room at Disney's Caribbean Beach Resort is going to run you around $300 a night, which comes out to $2,025 for the week. We got to add on park tickets. For this scenario, we're going to use a 4-day park hopper ticket, which is going to add a whopping $2,898 to the total package cost. Now, we all know that the next most expensive part of any vacation is the food. To make this simple, I've added the table service dining plan to this vacation package, which is going to add $1,944 to the total cost. But it doesn't stop there. We also got to account for the merchandise. Now, I know this is very subjective to each family, but for this scenario, we're going to say that each member of the family spends about $100 on merch, which adds another $400 onto that total. And one last vacation add-on is lightning lanes. Let's say this family just wants multipass for one day at Magic Kingdom, which is going to run them around $30 per person and $120 to the total package cost. Now, for the grand vacation total for a week at Disney World with a family of 4, it comes out to $7,387.
A baseline trip to Disney World for a family of 4 runs about $7,400 in 2026. And I want to be clear about what baseline means here. That's not staying at a fancy resort or eating at sit-down restaurants every night. It only means quick service meals, a 5-night stay at a mid-tier Disney resort, 5-day tickets without park hopper, and lightning lane passes for a couple of parks. If you decide to go during Christmas or Thanksgiving, a single-day ticket during peak holiday season, it's nearly $200 per person per day just to walk in. What people don't realize is the ticket is just the beginning, because you've still got to pay for flights if you don't live in California or Florida, a hotel to stay in, food inside the park, lightning lane passes if you don't want to wait 90 minutes per ride, parking, and souvenirs. When people who overspent were asked what blew their budget the most, 65% said in-park food and drinks, 48% said transportation, and 47% said accommodations. So what we can conclude about this is that the real spending starts once you're inside the park. Now, let's talk about prices, because every time I look, they've gone up. And you could say, well, it's just inflation, but is it really? Back in 1971, a Disney World ticket cost $3.50. Obviously, that was a long time ago, so let's adjust for inflation. If inflation were the only factor driving prices up, that $3.50 ticket would cost about $27 today. Instead, you're paying up to $209.
So I was going through some old stuff, and I found an old booking confirmation for mine and my wife's first Disney World vacation we went on. Total for the package was, after the insurance, was $1,918.24. What that came with was 5 nights at the Disney's All-Star Movie Resort. That included the 5-day park hopper ticket, and also came with the Magic Your Way Plus dining. What that was, 1 quick service meal, 1 sit-down meal, and I also had a 3-day car rental. So back in 2011, that vacation cost $1,918 after tax and insurance. So I was curious to see how much the same exact vacation would cost now. So I went on the Disney World website and I booked it the same exact way. I picked the same resort, same room type, added the 5-day park hopper ticket, selected the same dining plan, and added the same car rental option. And after the insurance, the same trip comes to $4,222.77. Also keep in mind that back on my first trip, you did not have to pay for the lightning lane. So the Disney World vacation has more than doubled since my first one.
This is very interesting. Some of the comments say, adjusted for inflation, that trip should cost about $2,800. And then another comment says, just looked up our 2011 May honeymoon, 14 days, Port Orleans, dining plan, 10-day park hopper, and water parks, $3,800. I priced out the exact same trip today, $9,231 with a promo. So, with this being said, we can confirm inflation is not a big factor when raising prices. From 2015 to 2026, the highest priced one-day ticket at Disney World increased by about 99%, nearly doubling in just 10 years. And it's not slowing down. Admission costs rose more between 2021 and 2022 than during any two-year stretch on record, with Disney taking full advantage of revenge travel demand after COVID. And every time Disney adds something new, a new land, a new ride, a new resort, prices go up again. That's been the pattern since the beginning. When Epcot opened in 1982, prices jumped. When Hollywood Studios opened in 1989, prices jumped again. And the parks keep expanding, so we will keep paying more. And here's a crazy thing. Even as prices hit new records, Disney has been removing attractions. In 2026, entire sections of Animal Kingdom are under construction, major rides have been down for over a year, and some classic experiences are gone permanently. So you're paying more and getting less, but people are still going.
And we can start planning. I feel like not enough people understand how easy the Disney payment plan system actually is. So let's break down some of the most common questions about the Disney vacation payment plan. First, your deposit. To book your trip, you will only need $200 down, and that amount is refundable all the way up to 30 days before check-in in case you need to cancel. Next, we're going to talk about payments. When it's time to make a payment, you can make a minimum of $20 all the way up to your full vacation balance whenever you want. You can make as many little payments as you want over time or one big payment when final payment is due. It's completely flexible.
And having watched this clip, here's what it gets concerning to me because people are actually getting into debt to go to these vacations, financing them and doing payment plans just so they can afford it. And to me, a vacation is a luxury. If you have to finance that vacation, you shouldn't be going. A Lending Tree survey of over 2,000 people found that 24% of Disney goers have gone into debt for a trip, a 33% jump from 2022. But among parents with young kids, that number shoots up to 45%, nearly half. And on average, those parents took on about $1,983 of Disney-related debt, with 83% of that debt coming just from the past 5 years. Credit cards, personal loans, the phrase, "I'll figure it out when we get back," that's how people are funding this trip. And the crazy part is this survey says that 59% of those parents say that they have zero regrets about going into debt for it.
I spend $8,100 a year on Disney Vacation Club dues, and yes, it's going up to $8,500, and yes, I probably bought enough DVC to pay for a small house. That's how I choose to spend my money. I love DVC, I love traveling the world, and I do both. No, most DVC members are not boring people. We love magic, we love experiences. So if you feel sorry for me, don't come in here judging me in the comments about how I spend my money.
Looking for footage, I found a lot of clips like the one you watch, and it actually fascinated me because it changed the panoramic for me, where the real question shifted from why is Disney so expensive to why do people keep going anyway? And the honest answer is it's because it's emotional, not financial. For a lot of parents, taking their kids to Disney isn't a vacation decision. It's an identity decision. Many parents remember going as kids and want that same experience for their own children. It becomes a milestone, something that people with kids do. And if you don't have kids, it becomes something fun that people that can afford it do. And of course, everybody wants to prove they can afford it. Disney has spent 70 years engineering exactly that feeling. Castle, the characters, the fireworks, even the smell. The park is designed so that everywhere you look, there's something magical happening. None of that is by accident. It's all built to make you feel like not going means you're somehow failing your kid or yourself. And here's the thing about that framing. Once you believe the trip is a non-negotiable, price stops being a deal breaker. It becomes an obstacle you work around. You put it in a card, you take out a personal loan, you tell yourself you'll pay it off later. The reason it works for Disney is that they've engineered everything so that they are just not selling a vacation. They're selling a memory. And memories are priceless, which means Disney can charge whatever they want.
Here's a video that no one asked for. Let's do a price breakdown of how much money I spent in Disney. Let's keep in mind that this is my money. The Uber was about $27. The park ticket was $180. I also prefer not to stand in line like a peasant, so I brought the lightning lane for $32. The popcorn bucket was $14. The chili bread bowl before there was like $20. Then the Disney pen was like $14. I got this cup for $38. Couldn't leave without it. The pen was free. And then, of course, I got some more merch. So my friend wanted these ears, $35. My mom wanted this shirt, about $35. And then for the ultimate merch of them all, this jersey, that was like $84. And that brings us to $480 for one day.
This clip isn't as outrageous as others I've seen, but what I wanted you to see in this clip is something that you probably had figured out before, and that is the fact that the ticket is nothing compared to what you will spend at Disney. When you fraction cost, you find that the ticket usually makes up less than 50% of what your actual day at Disney will cost you. The whole park is designed to keep extracting money from you the entire time you're there. And to emphasize on this, I want to talk about two things: lining lane and food. Let's start with lining lane. Lining lane used to be called Fast Pass. It was a fixed price, simple, you add it to your tickets, and that was it. Now it's called lining lane. The price changes based on the day and how busy the park is. And basically, it works as an upsell on top of your ticket. You don't have to buy it, but if you don't, you're looking at 75 to 90-minute waits for popular rides. Most first-timers don't even think about it when they're buying tickets, and it doesn't hit you until you've already been inside and you see those wait times. At that point, you've already spent hundreds on tickets, so you just buy it. Now, let's talk about food. And yes, you can actually bring your own food into the park. But here's the thing. You're at Disney, everything looks incredible. You're walking past a Mickey-shaped ice cream, a churro, some themed drink that costs $15 and comes in a souvenir cup. And on top of that, Disney food is genuinely good. So bringing a sandwich from outside suddenly feels like you're missing out on a part of the experience. This is just how it's designed. Before you know it, a quick meal for a family of 4 runs you $70 to $80, and that's just one meal. Here's where things get messier. For a lot of people, the Disney trip isn't even the core of their debt. When one interviewer talked to visitors at Disney Springs, the biggest debts people have were student loans and car payments. The Disney trip was just piled on top of the debt they already had. And when you're already carrying that kind of weight, spending a couple $1,000s to have a good time feels like a drop in the ocean. What's another $2,000, right? The problem is that $2,000 in a card with a 24% APR doesn't stay $2,000. You make minimum payments, life gets in the way, and that Disney trip is following you 2 or 3 years later. And by the time you finally pay it off, the next trip is already due. And then the cycle starts all over again. Look, I'm not here to tell you that going to Disney is bad. If you've saved up, planned for it, and can actually afford it, go. Have the time of your life. The parks are genuinely incredible, and I get why people love them. But there's a real difference between choosing Disney and financing Disney. The park is specifically designed to make you feel like the only way to have a real complete experience is to spend more than you have. That's the business model. From the dynamic pricing to the lightning lane upsells to the gift shops placed at every exit, on every ride, every dollar you spent was planned for. So if you're thinking about going, start saving now, travel off season, eat before you enter, skip the lightning lane on the days you don't actually need it, and set a hard budget before you book anything. Because the happiest place on earth hits a lot different when you're not paying it off for the next 2 years.